Welcome back, everybody, and this is going to be Game 3 of a three-part series we have here Artosis spawning his Protoss down here in the 8 o'clock position, and DeMusliM himself spawning his Terran up here at the 1208 position. And like I said, this is Game 3, so I'm not going to really give any huge spoilers, but aw, you're by far the better player, go easy on me. That needs one of those those TV sounds where everybody hugs at the end of the show, like do do do. Yeah, I can't sing worth a crap, but that's okay because I am not here to entertain you with my singing prowess. Anyways, game 1, there was a lot of use of Marines, Marauders, and Banshees, whereas Protoss responded with fielding a lot of Zealots, Colossi, and some Stalkers. Game 2, a lot of focus, actually pretty much the deciding factor were the Ghosts and the High Templar. So very good use of both of those units from the players, and I think so far that's been my favorite game, Game 2. So I have that up on my channel. If you haven't watched the first two games already, do yourself a favor and go check them out. I mean, these guys are both really awesome players, they're awesome people, so it's worth your time to go see what's going on with the other two games, as we have another worker chase here. They're both duking it out on their lovers' quarrel, as you know, the SCV just decides he'd rather get some minerals, and oh, this probe is cheating on the SCV. They're running around here. Well, actually, they're not cheating; is basically running away, but that's okay because he is a probe and he can get away with such actions as like, I love you, no I don't, I love you, no I don't, just kidding, I'm running away. We'll never be compatible. And gateway going down. Already got the gas. Fully saturated gas as well. Cybernetics core being hid down here by the super secret pylon behind the geysers here of the smoke. I don't know what these buildings put off that puts off that much smoke, but man, I don't think I would want to work there. As the Terran player comes in and builds his own gas refinery on top of the Vespene geyser here, denying the Protoss an early second assimilator. So the smoke screen not doing much good for the Protoss player now, as DeMusliM was able to get in with an SCV, scout around what's going on. Zealot run into the field trying to take out the geyser. However, this SCV is going to continue to scout up here in the base. So both players have scouted each other's forces. Both of them know what's going on in the very early game, as DeMusliM does have a mule now continuing to produce SCVs and also getting the stim pack upgrade for his Marines and Marauders. So we may see an early play with low tier units. We may see an early push. Not too sure what's going to happen, as he does continue to build up his forces, some throwing down another supply depot, a couple different SCVs coming, throw down, looks like we got 3 barracks total, 2 on the way, so rally points have already been set. Newer players take note, very good idea to set your rally point for your production facilities as soon as you've started building them, so that way when if you have to produce units from them quickly, as soon as they're done, you won't have them sitting in your base because you forgot to rally them. So very important to do that. And often you'll see players rally, they'll select all their buildings and they'll right click on one unit, and then the forces will continuously reinforce to wherever that unit is on the map. So very good to do that if you are in the middle of getting ready to push, or if you are pushing on the opponent's base. So Protoss has one of each tier 1 unit here just kind of hanging out. Got a sentry here with enough energy to force field should the Terran push in the next couple seconds here, which unfortunately does not look like is going to be the case. I think both players are going to continue to mech her up. We do have a second gateway and a robotics facility going down. Whole bunch of stuff being built. Got another pylon as the second geyser is now saturated. As let's take a look at the income here. We're both sitting neck and neck. That's pretty much to be expected, as neither player does have an expansion. However, we do have an SCV coming out here checking for any sort of proxy pylon, making sure there's not going to be any early push by the Protoss player on, in this third game here. As he does continue to pump out of 3 barracks, he does have 1 reactor, 1 tech lab, and nothing just yet. Probably just trying to get out a few extra Marines. That's okay, as he does have a factory going down as well as a mule. Still kind of hanging out here, just came out and entered the field as DeMusliM is going to move out with his forces, dragging along a few Marines, few Marauders, and Protoss is being baited out just a little bit by the SCV, but that's okay because the Protoss does have enough forces to hold off the ramp should the Terran decide to do a direct assault. He also does have this force field here with 100, or the sentry with 100 energy plus, so he'll be able to lay down 2 of them and delay any sort of attack at least 30 seconds. So Terran forces are trying to... Oh, looks like DeMusliM did learn from the past 2 games. We did see this action previously before with the force field blocking out the units. So what he did is he sent 1 Marauder up to trigger the force fields. And, I mean, really, he's only sacrificing 1 unit, and he's keeping the other units up here really, really tight bunch to try to get any free attacks that he can, he can grab from the Protoss forces here. And taking a look at the Protoss base, have a robotics bay down, no range upgrade yet, but there is a Colossus trying to enter the field. It was supply blocked, however, it is coming now with the Chrono Boost. So, Terran player is trying to kite along, kill some of these zealots. He is using the stim hack ability, kiting and shooting. Very good move, very good micro there. Taking down several of them at once because he does have the concussive shells upgrade, which makes the kiting that much easier. Unfortunately for them, though, not only is he backed into a corner... Whoa, what are you doing, mouse? He backed into a corner, but he is also have a... Artosis does have a Stalker that he was able to use to kill the kiting Terran forces. So, expansion going down. This will be very much needed if, it's a very risky move, but it'll definitely pay off if Artosis is able to hold it. Because, DeMusliM did throw away a lot of early Tier 1 units. So he's probably thinking that, his economy, that DeMusliM's economy is kind of hurting right now because he did that. But no, not really. He did have, he did build up his factory, which you can see is going to head over and scout now. He does have a medevac on the way. He does have the reactor down, throwing up some Vikings because he did see that there was going to be a Colossus coming to the field very soon. Also, a lot of focus on getting the Marauders and Marines out. So, more Vikings taking to the field as well. We'll have the combat shield upgrade. Observer coming up here to check out what's going on. Effective scouting is essential to winning at Starcraft 2. I mean, this is more advice for newer players. You've really got to know what your opponent's doing so that way you can build the proper counter. You can't just build up. You can't just start with a build order and stick to it no matter what and, spend the entire game going for one thing regardless of what the other player does. So, very important to adapt. And like I said, that's just for newer players. I'm sure most of you guys already know that, but for those of you that don't, hopefully that'll help you win some more games. As the expansion is finished, Colossus has entered the field. Factory does give the Terran player vision of the high ground, so this effectively negates any sort of force field placement right here. If the Protoss forces decide to hang out towards the end of the ramp here, the Terran player will still be able to fight. Protoss player actually doing a pretty wise move, not attacking this Terran force here, which is taking out this expansion, as there are several Vikings here which could very easily kill the 1 Colossus that is on the field for the Protoss player at the moment, who is working off of 3 warp gates, a couple more pylons going down on the field. He is researching that range upgrade, which will be done very soon as in right now. And the Observer is going to go try to see where the forces are going. We do have a Warp Prism just kind of hanging out here. I don't think he was actually... I don't think he did anything. No, I don't think he did anything. But he is going to warp in a couple Zealots here and check out what is going on. And whoa, that's super close. As these Vikings... Hey, I know StarCraft 2. The Vikings are going to take out the Warp Prism very quickly, so... Taking a look at the Terran base, it's pretty much standard. We've got 3 barracks, still got the starport here pumping out the Vikings. Very good counter for dealing with the Colossus. And once the Colossus is dead, they can also land and help with the Zealots as long as they don't get too terribly close. Really important to let the Marauders take the damage and the Vikings just kind of shoot from afar. They do have a lot of hit points, but you got to remember you've also invested way into that starport tech, and they do cost a considerable amount of gas, so it's better just to let the Marauders take the damage. And they can get healed too, whereas the Vikings can't. So, taking a look here at the Protoss forces, we do have 1 Immortal just kind of hanging out here. as he does try to push back this factory, which is going to, again, give the Terran player vision of the high ground, as well as the Vikings and the medevac here, which he will use to its full advantage, taking out some of the shields of the warp gate here, trying to come in here and take out the warp gate, which will be pretty devastating, as he only has 3 at the moment with no expansions. And yeah, at this point they're just going to be kind of baiting each other back, trying to get each other out of position. Not too terribly much going on. Terran player is continuing to build up in his base. We see a command center going down at the natural expansion, but I'm going to keep the camera here because at any second I feel like an attack is imminent. This gateway might go down. Oh, so close. 95 hit points on this warp gate left. Very close, but unfortunately for the Terran player, was not able to take that out without actually sustaining casualties of his own, as we do have a couple Immortals hanging out here. 3 of them so far, a bunch of Zealots, some Stalkers. Definitely way more Stalkers in the first game, as well as 2 Colossus, which are trying to use their range attack, or their range upgrade to take out some of these Marines. However, a full-on attack is imminent as 2 very well-placed force fields go down, allowing the Protoss forces to sandwich in about 5 or 6 Marines or so. Still, I mean, that did knock the Terran force down considerably in terms of ground-based units, as there are several Vikings still in the field. However, the Terran player is going to hold back and bide his time until he has enough land forces to really make sure that he can seal the deal with the attack. So 1 Zealot coming out, just trying to scout out, see what's going on out here, as I don't think the Observer is actually hanging out at this part. Is this the Observer? No, I don't know where that Observer went. Might have actually died. But we have one more Immortal here hanging out. We've got a couple more Sentries warped in. So at this point, it looks like the Protoss may be looking to move out from this this containment area that the Terran has set up. However, the Terran does have the factory here, so he is able to see that the Protoss is hanging out at the very top of the ramp. Pulls off a couple of extra shots. Force fields going down. However, the Protoss is going to retreat, as he did lose both Colossus units from his army. They were both destroyed, so the Protoss does not really have any effective units for dealing with a massive amount of Marines and Marauders here. I mean, he does have the Immortals, which will be able to take out several of the Marauders, but if the Terran runs up, you know, with STEM, or especially if he just gets in his dropships and lifts off, I mean, he's going to be able to park it down there and be doing the damage that needs to be done to the Protoss forces to eliminate it. So we do have more Immortals taken to the field, more Stalkers, got a Zealot in there as well. Very tier 1 heavy unit composition here, with several Immortals trying to get some pot shots. However, these medevacs are definitely saying no to that, as they heal up the units that are at very low hit points from the little, I don't want to call it little hit and runs by the Protoss player, but that's essentially what it is. So the Terran player is still kind of hanging out, waiting for the perfect opportunity to attack Artosis, as I guess we did have a lot of numbers coming here. I guess he accidentally hit the enter key. So we'll just call this the 4-5-6-5-4-5-6-4-5-6 build, which is basically going to consist of what you see here. So whole bunch of probes coming out trying to get some money, as Artosis is essentially mined out of his base, forcing him to attack here, throwing up his shields, doing anything he can. But unfortunately, the Terran does have a pretty good concave here, so the Protoss forces running down from the choke, you know, are basically walking into a trap. So at this point, that is pretty much going to be it for Artosis, as he does not have really anything left over. So I mean, that was a great game by both players. Definitely looking forward to any matches from these guys in the future. And I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you later.